Susan, I have loved your work forever. You know that as a sports writer. I don't think there's anybody better informed who knows how to put it on the page than you do, and I mean that sincerely. You've got a book out now about the Oakland A's. Tell us about it.
I do. It's a part of the series, which the wonderful Dane Conley obviously did the Orioles 100 Things You Need to Know About the A's. And they're such fun books because they're fan oriented. And they're not just historical kind of facts, but anecdotes and things that fans can do too. So I write a lot about the right field bleachers here, for instance, which I would encourage anybody that's never been to the Coliseum to visit because they're a load of fun and the people out there are great. But also just fun stuff, and it's the entire history of the franchise, which in Baltimore, of course, it is. But here, this is a team that's moved around. Some of my all-time favorite stories now are Philadelphia A's stories, and I actually talked to several of the Philadelphia A's players, including Bobby Shantz, who is still alive and very sharp at the age of 89. And my goodness, the stories about Rube Waddell and Connie Mack and stuff like that. That's those are the reasons that you kind of want to write. Baseball's fun. Like, why not celebrate it? This series does that, and I think the A's have as colorful and as successful a franchise as just about any in pro sports.
How did you treat Mr. Finley in all of this? Because you talk about baseball being fun.
Yeah, well, that's it's a list book, so it's 100 things, and he's in the top 3. I think he's number 3. And he's just unbelievable that he was such a forward thinker, and he had a lot of gimmicks, but some of them wound up sticking. Very important figures, certainly for the A's teams, but those fit right in with those colorful early 70s A's teams with the mustaches and, the success and the brawls and all of that. Half the time they were all brawling really against Finley and the salaries he was paying them at the time. So, yeah, he was one of a kind for sure. I think he should be in the Hall of Fame. I think he's a guy the Veterans Committee should really take a look at one of these years.
Very good. How about biggest surprise in doing the book?
You know what? The fan reaction has been really, really positive, which I would have expected, but it's a small fan base, but they're so passionate, and the response has been so overwhelming that I was a little surprised by that. My husband did the 49ers book, and we thought that would get a lot of response because it's a very big fan base, all in Northern California. And I think the A's fans have come through maybe even bigger than the 49ers fans, so I like that.
Good for you. All right, now I'm going to hit you up on what we do with all of our guests on here, and we don't give them any time to prepare. Favorite book of all time is?
Charlotte Bronte's Villette, which I read in college, and it's the interior monologue, essentially. The examination of a single teacher at a girls' school somewhere in sort of Belgium, France area, and it's so, like, everything is so clearly written, very simple, but as things go along, you suddenly start to realize not as all as it seems, and just sort of the developing consciousness of someone in a situation in which they perceive themselves turns out to not be at all the way everyone else sees them. So that was the first time I read sort of a narrator who is not entirely reliable, but not in any sort of bad way. It's not a murder mystery. It's not a lot of action, but just beautifully written, and everything is set up so carefully, kind of hit you when you realize what's going on. So I've probably given it a little bit of a spoiler alert, but no way to get around that. People don't read it much, but man, it's a special book.
Do you think you were most touched by the content or the manner of writing?
The manner of writing, because everything is set up, like a little bit in the, like when you, like almost a gotcha, but you don't see it coming at all. And you think, well, this poor, meek, demure woman and her rough life, and then you realize by the end, I'm not sure how many people are going to read it, but you realize she's actually very popular, very loved. People, she's got a very rich social life, and you start off thinking, like, man, this poor person, she doesn't have a clue. She's she's got it really rough. She's actually got like loads of more confidence than she thinks, the way a lot of people actually feel. Like, no, I don't really have a lot of friends. I'm not very confident. You talk to their friends and they go, they're the best. I love them. But set in, a couple hundred years ago in a boarding school. So really a very rich interior life is drawn. And then you sort of see it really more from the other side.
Love it. That's why we do these. Susan, we really appreciate it. It's always great to see you, and thank you so much for joining us.
Great to see you, Gary.
That'll do it. And that's Hitting the Books this week.